replica of what?
A ghost trap?
Alrighty everybody, welcome back to a new video of Ramzastro. That is I. First things first, you notice it's quite a plain background. That's because quite recently I had a flood come through my ceiling and I had to vacate this rough area of all my collectibles and things. So I've just got a plain table at the moment until I'm definitely sure that it has been fixed. Just need to wait until it rains next to find out if it's definitely been fixed. So as you know by the title of this video, we are going to be modifying my Ghostbusters trap that I got recently. Unlike most videos I do, I tend to, well most videos I do, I try to film them all in one take, then I chop them together as best as possible to make it seem decent. This video will be filmed in many different takes on many different days, depending on when I can get to do each section. You'll see as we go on. I'm even testing out a new lighting system. Mainly because due to that flood I no longer have a ceiling light, so thankfully I've got a little ring light here to try and bring me a little bit of extra light. It's kind of helping. The ceiling light with it would have been perfect, but what you're going to do, if I didn't have the ring light I'd have to wait until that light has been fixed before I could do anything. So the continuity in this video may change because I'm filming this section today. And who knows, by the time the next section pops up, I'll be filming on a different day. Things might be back to normal, the lights might be different, so I apologise in advance about the lighting continuity and background and what not. So I'm going to be modifying this, so just to make sure there's no turning back, I'm going to cut this cable because I will not be using this main cable. I'm just going to make sure I've got a little bit of give. There we go, no turning back now unless I solder that. So there we go. So let me just turn this around and we'll do the same here. There we go. I'm going to be using this cable later on for some things. I'm going to put that aside in a box. So I'm just going to do a jump cut and we will get this thing opened up. Yeah, so we're getting this thing opened up. So what you have to look for is the 4 screw holes. It's not on this side. It is on this side, so I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I'm really sorry once again about the lighting. We should have light coming from the ceiling, but I've got no lights in the ceiling. I've just got this ring light which is beside me, which is probably going to make this process even harder and so much more fun. So let's just get these screws taken out. Oh, come on, I don't want to thread these, to destroy these screws. There we go, finally got a grip. This heat, we're having a bit of a heat wave here this week in Scotland, and it is absolutely killing me. In my living room at the moment, it is just under 25 degrees and I cannot cope. This is why I don't go to warm countries for holiday. There we go. Let me just get my magnetic bowl. I bought a magnetic bowl just for this purpose, so I do not lose any of these screws. There we go. I got this in a pound shop. I've seen it online for about £4. I was quite happy to find that in the pound shop. My local independent pound shop has got one of the best DIY sections in my area and I love it. There we go. Finally got a grip of that nail. Now that screw. Let's get this bad boy out. I'm just going to keep talking, even though there's a chance I'm just going to be putting music over this or fast forwarding it in the main edit. You will know before me. You will most likely know before me, because I do not know at this stage. No, that is still not unscrewed. And I just have to say, I have absolutely no experience in modifying things to make them look movie accurate, making movie props, cosplay, things like that. I've got no experience. Why are you not coming out? There we go, in the bowl with you. So this is a new experience for me. I even learned how to do some basic soldering just for this. And we'll find out if I learned well or learned badly. Oh, come on. Grip the screw. There we go. This is quite hard when I'm having to reach over past the camera to do this. Normally I'd be taking my time and but I'm having to do this at a weird angle. Now there we go, that's much easier. Much easier. I think that is out. Nope. Son of a biscuit. Let's just do a jump cut to these being out. Right, so I finally got those two screws out. So next we're going to just pop off these wheels, which is handy. They just pop off. These wheels just pop off. So I'm just going to move that to the side so we don't lose any of those pieces. Now we're left with the main trap, and we just need to be a little bit careful separating these pieces. Luckily I've already done this a few weeks ago to have a quick look inside, but I stupidly didn't take any photographs. So here we go, we have the insides of the trap. I'm going to do a quick jump cut because I want to take photos of what's inside and where they are, and then I'll show you. Okay, already we've got the handle come off of the trap, so I know that there's a hole there for some reason, which I will fill in and sand down flat. So I'm just going to set the handle to the side. So I'll just turn this. Here is the little strip that covers the LEDs at the front. I'm just going to remove that and set that there. And if I turn this, I can see that this will need snipped. So where did I sit? Snippers. I will resolder these later. So snip those so that that is separate. So let us take a look at the side of the trap. So this is, let's get this bad boy out. This is the motor that turns the trap doors. It is attached to a little motherboard which appears to be attached to the on off switch and LED, which I'll have to figure out how to unattach. It looks like they're soldered on. That is going to be fun, but for now I am just going to unplug this so I can see that this one, okay, I've got no idea how to unplug these. Just clip out, I don't know. I've got no idea. And we've got the speaker here which is soldered on, which is going to be so much fun to deal with. So I'm just going to do a jump cut while I unplug all of this. Right, I did get the motor unplugged from the motherboard. It did. Basically, the secret was don't be scared to pull out the little plugs like I was. I was being extra delicate. I got the LEDs from the front unplugged, no problem. And I realised that this black and red cable could have just been unplugged. I didn't need to cut that, so I'll be getting soldered back on pretty soon. I'll probably do that off camera since that didn't actually need to be done. So what's left is the speaker, which is soldered on, and that black cable is obviously from the trap power supply, but we will use that cable later on. All that's left to do is to remove this black panel. So there is a couple of screws. I will do that, but that is soldered in. I'm pretty sure this one is soldered in as well, so I will have to get those unsoldered. Back in a moment. Right, I got the panel off. The speaker cable soldering came with, so that'll be getting resoldered at some point. So I'll have to get this removed and remove this so that I can replace that power switch and get some extra cabling put on that. Overall, I'm happy with this. I'll deal with all this later. So this is all just getting set to the side at the moment. This is a little panel that had come up. I'm going to scratch all that away and I will drill a new hole there for the new switch. So let's see what else needs done here. So here we've got the LEDs. Those are just sellotaped and hot glued on. I may just remove them for the painting process. This is the front panel here. That just slides out. So I'll get them removed so that everything is ready. Bear with me a moment. May not use any of this audio, but I'm going to speak anyway. This hot glue is cheap as hell. I should know, because it's just like the one stuff I buy at the pound shop. And this is just sellotape. Just peel that sellotape, put the knife down. Sellotape is off. So as you can see, nothing else holding that in place. It just comes away, and we'll do the same at this side. That's the LED's been removed, so I'm just going to set some stuff to the side. I just hit the microphone. Going to set all that to the side, put those to the side, set that there. I just want to make sure everything is where I know it is. Right, so first things first, I'm going to have a look at this. Like, there's a belt clip on the outside of this trap I will get removed, but I also want to remove this bad boy, so let me just look for my flathead screwdriver. Look at how organised I am. I didn't even remember where I put it. In fact, before I remove them, let us remove these trap doors. So from what I've seen online, these things kind of just bend and pop out. There we go. Bend and pop out. They've even got the gear attached. Perfect. So we'll set you over there. We'll do the same with this one. Bend and pop out. Bend and pop out. There we go. Set you over here. So we're going to have a quick look at this and pop off these red bars, beams. I don't know what they're actually called. Look at that. That popped off so cleanly. That is going to be so nice to put back on. Let's hope this one is the same. We will try and make it as clean as possible. So from what I've seen online, sometimes these just snap off. Oh, even cleaner. Even cleaner. So I'm going to be keeping these red, but I'll be repainting them. And I can see that I've got some, see if we can, you can see some seam lines. Everything will be getting sanded down anyway. So that is perfect. This side is just about good to go, but we'll peel that off and we'll get this done. So it's got a jump cut to having a sticker removed. There we go, sticker has been removed. It's left the sticky residue, but that doesn't matter just now. We're going to remove this, and I'm going to use this mini hand hacksaw. So I don't have any vice grips of that, so this is going to be a little dodgy. Please ignore my technique. I am a noob, as I've said. This is my first attempt at anything like this. I was going to use my Dremel, but then I pictured cutting my hand off. I think you've seen enough. We'll jump cut to that being off. Yep, so that's it cut off. I've not done the cleanest job, but that will be cleaned up nicely when I get to sanding this beast. So the last thing I need to cut off is this knob and all of these fake screws. So before I get to the knob, for this fake screws, I'm going to use a tool that I use for my Warhammer. I've got no idea what its actual name is. It's a little snippy tool. I just call it the little snippy thing. So I'm going to be replacing these fake screws with real screws. So I'm just going to flip the wood easily. There we go. Easily just clean them off. Two. I'm going to leave those since I can just put the red pipes back on. And another one. These will file down nicely, don't you worry. My technique isn't the best as I'm left-handed. Because of where I'm having to sit, I'm having to use my right hand. There we go. I will do the same here. Clean off the snippy tool. Let's try it with my left hand. No, I don't get any leverage because of where I'm sitting. It is annoying. Right, you've seen what I've done with the other ones. I'm going to do a jump cut. With all those little bits snipped, I've not even filed them down yet. I'll do that when I'm sanding. I'm going to remove this and you'll see why later. So let's get this bad boy removed. Try and keep this as flat as possible. If I can't get it flush, I will sort that later on off camera. But this is the best tool that I've got other than my Dremel. I've got no idea where that went. Absolutely no idea. Right, so that has actually got a hole straight through. So what I'm going to try and do is find something that will fit in there, because I'm going to have to put something through there at some point. But you will see that later on. I have not done that the best, so I will get that evened up. So we're focusing on the other side of the trap now. This is the battery cover. Take that off in a moment. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be snipping all these fake screws once again. Move the battery cover so it's ready for sanding. I'm going to remove this gold thing. Completely cut that down. I may have to do that off camera because I'll have to concentrate. It is quite flush. And I'm also going to remove this. So I'm just going to do a couple of the little snippy snip for the fake screws. So let's get them snippy snipped. Right, so I've cut this off, this bad boy off. May have scratched this up a bit, and I've cut that off as best as I can for now, but when it comes to sanding, that will take it all off. So I will be sanding that off as well. So I'm just going to set that to the side. I'm going to tidy up a bit, then we'll move on to the next thing. Well, as you can see, I didn't actually do any tidying up at all in that jump cut. I actually made the mess worse. So what I did was I got out my Dremel and put a little sanding thing on it and made this as flat as possible without destroying it, and that'll be fixed when I do some proper sanding. I've also pre-drilled some guide holes for where I'm going to be putting some real screws. I'm still to do these panels, so I thought I would do that here so you can see the process. So this drill is 0.5 millimeters smaller than I actually need. These are just guide holes for when I do the tapping later on. I was drilling the wrong way. I was wondering why it wasn't going in. There we go. So that's that side done. Just set my drill to the side for this other one. So I also kind of did the same with the Dremel. This side made more of a mess. As you can see, there's a lot more here. So I'm going to do these. I'm going to do... Let me just have a look. So put this together. So I'm done. I'll be doing that one and that one. Just so I know. But first I'm going to remove this, so I don't want to damage the battery compartment when I'm drilling these holes. Right, so now we'll be doing this. I'll be replacing these fake screws with real ones. Absolutely perfecto! Hopefully this will work out. If you know me personally, you know I'm not the best with power tools or any form of DIY or anything hands-on. I like Art Attack style stuff. Let's get you in the center. Here we go. See, that wasn't even centered. Come on. Made a slight mistake there, but I fixed it. So this isn't my drill. I've had to borrow this from my dad just so I could do this. I had to do it. I had to make it spin. Okay, so that's those pre-drilled for these screws. We'll talk more about them later on. Let me just get rid of all this excess plastic. So you probably guessed that I'm extremely noobish and I do not know what I'm really doing, because I'm doing this in my living room. I don't have a workshop. I've barely got any tools of my own, but I am determined to get this done. Well, we've got the drill out. I noticed in some of my reference pictures that there was a little screw thing here or a little knob sticking out, but the screw kind of matches the screws that I'll be putting in here, so I'm going to make a hole in this for that. So it was about here. If I'm eyeballing it correctly, it's about there. Okay, that slid off to the side. This makes Oh, I had it set in the wrong setting once again. There we go. More or less in the top. Perfect. Realised I drilled the wrong holes on this side, so I've drilled the right holes. I'll fill these ones in, then I'll sand over it. But first, what I'm going to do is, what I've done is I've taped the thing back together without screwing it up. And I've got this little panel that goes up here, and I've pre-drilled the holes by duct tape, well, not duct tape, masking taping it in place to get the holes in. I got this plus the other accessories that you'll be seeing from do_ray_egons on eBay.
Do Ray
Egon!
And he's such a great Ghostbusters fan. He's such a good guy to talk to. He makes these little pieces to add on to your Ghostbusters props. He also makes holsters for your PK meter, for your trap. He also does trap clips and other things, as well as key rings and key fobs, everything. So check him out on eBay and Instagram. Such a good guy to talk to. He will help you out if you have any question, because he has been a great help with this. So I've got that little panel from him, and I've also got, well, I've snipped off all these bits, so let me just get them out and you'll see. I'll just do a jump cut. Yeah, I should have all this sitting out. So as you know, I signed it off that gold bit. I was able to get this from him on his eBay, so that is going to be mounted on there. This is the proper piece, so once that's sanded down further, we'll be able to get that attached at the later stages. As well as that, I was able to get this panel. I'll just get them out. He even provided the screws for it and everything. So this is the knob, but well, not the one I cut off, but this is the proper one. So you've got this panel, put that through there, we'll properly stick that on, and you'll have a resistor knob. So I'm going to have to measure this up, find out where it goes, get it masking taped down, and pre-drill those holes. So I'm just going to do that just now. I'll get it all masking taped up, then I'll drill it on camera. Right, everybody, the last thing I'm going to do tonight before I start sanding things and finishing up for tonight, well, I'm actually not going to do any sanding tonight, I'll do that tomorrow, is this is where the pedal wire originally came out of, and as I said, there was a hole on the handle that I wanted to fill in, so I'm going to fill them in using green stuff. Now this is usually, I use this for Warhammer, but I figured the stuff goes rock solid when you're done with it, so I'll just snap some off. If I can get it out. Oh, I'll get it out and I will snap off some and we can get started. Let me just, there we go. I see here we go. This is why I'm wearing gloves. This stuff is extremely sticky, so what you need to do is mix this stuff up until it goes green, and then it is ready. I hate using this stuff because it gets everywhere if you're not wearing gloves. I've only used it a few times, but each time I've used it with my Warhammer has been really successful, especially filling in gaps or cracks that appeared when the models have not fit together correctly. But it does get really sticky really quickly. Ah, come on, here we go, it's starting to turn green. There we go, I would say that's successfully mixed. That is green, so we will start with this. So find a hole on the other side. What I'll do is I'll pitch up on this side, push the green stuff through. As you can see, the green stuff is coming through, and then I will flatten it as best as I can, and that will harden over the next 24 hours. And what I'll do is I will sand that bad boy down once it's fully set. So I would say that's enough. So I think I've made far too much green stuff because I want to fill in this hole. So take a little clump of green stuff. Oh, come on, don't be so sticky. Right, there we go, and just shove it down the hole. Push it in as much as you can to fill up that crevice. Doesn't matter if it's overflowing because we're going to be sanding this smooth anyway. There we go, I'd say that's almost enough. There's a little divot, so I've pushed it in a little too far. That just means I'll have a decent amount setting on the inside. So what I want to do is just kind of flatten that a little bit. Just enough because it will be getting sanded right down. There we go. Perfect, so I will leave that to set for 24 hours before I sand that down. It doesn't matter if you get it on the sides of anything because it's the green stuff. So I'm just going to leave a jump cut here and I will continue this tomorrow. It's a new day from last night from when I started this. As you can see, I did not bother tidying anything up because I realised today is sanding day. There's no bother tidying up and hoovering until the sanding is done, but I did do a little bit of tinkering last night. After I said I was done for the day, I did some soldering. I fixed that wire that I didn't need to cut in the end. I soldered it, put some heat shrinks on it, so that is fixed. I even sanded down this entire section, so this section was all ready to be primed, and I also drilled a few holes for putting in the new connectors for the cable, which we'll get to in time. Sand off that, tape that battery pack off, hit the microphone there. So I've had a look here today. So all I also did is I noticed because of this big hole I'm not going to be able to attach this new connect. I can't just glue that there, but I want this to be able to be turnable with one of these. I don't know what they're called, can't remember. So I've stuck a little panel of plastic in there, drilled the appropriate hole, and it is ready. So I just need to sand this bad boy down. I kind of gave it a little scuff last night. What I've been using is I'll give it a proper scuff with some proper sandpaper, but I've also got these. They're like little sandpaper sponges. They're just called sanding pads. Quite good. I got them out in the local pound shop, but it's kind of like a little sanding sponge. It's not too rough, so it's enough to scuff it enough to get ready for painting. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me just show you how well it works. Scuffs it up just enough, getting ready for painting. You've probably noticed the lighting is a lot different from last night. I've got the blackout blinds open because I don't have no ceiling light. Thought I'd try and take advantage of the sunlight. I've also got my new ring light pointed at it as well as a lamp. So just trying to get that all out of the way. So I'm going to sand this down. I'm not going to do it on camera because that'd be boring for you to watch. Just wanted to let you know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to sand that down like I did the other one. I've sanded down one of the trap doors, and that was just with one of these. Sands out really well, so I'll get that sanded down again today. And I've also did a little bit of soldering. So this is the wire that is going to be connecting the cable from the inside. I've connected it to this little bit of plastic so that it's got something to hold on to. And I also managed to get that power switch removed, and I've soldered my new power switch to a cable. I've not bothered cutting the cable yet because I don't know how long I need it. I just thought I'd get that set up and ready. So I'm just going to do a bunch of sanding now, do a jump cut to getting ready to prime. Right, so that's everything been sanded down to what I quite like. This patch here turned out quite well as it did on the handle. So now I'm going to give it a wash down so it's ready to be primed. I'm going to be using this sugar soap I also got from that same pound shop. It cleans and prepares for painting. So what I'll do is I'll give it a good wash with this. That gets it off any loose darts, any loose bits I've sanded, plastic. and it'll make it pristine, ready to be primed. So I'm just going to do that. Next thing you'll see is them about to be primed. Okay, so I've got the primer done on everything bar one little piece. I'm just going to get that done just now. And there we go, I'll let that dry, then I'll get the silver stage done. Alright, so we've got the silver coat down on everything. I've brought through the stuff that needs masking taped off before we do the black coat. But just before we go into that, the battery panel is completely finished. It's the first finished piece. It stays silver, and all I had to do was add on this piece that I got from Dure Egon. It is great, it looks fantastic. So this piece is the first completed piece. I'd say the next complete piece would probably be this panel. It just needs screwed on, plus the knob put on. So we just need to mask the pieces off that we want to keep silver before we do the black. So I'm just going to cut away and do that, because you don't want to watch me masking, because it can take forever and I tend to swear a lot when it doesn't work out the way I want to. So we'll do a jump cut to the masking complete. Yep, so that's the masking tape done. That literally took me over an hour to do those three things. Over an hour. Thank God I did not decide to film that. I used some good masking tape for once. I usually use cheap stuff, but this stuff I thought if I'm doing this I might as well go out. I got some Rhino Ultra Tape Edge Tape. It is brilliant, probably the best masking tape I've ever used. It's great. So I'm just going to do a jump cut now to back into the painting area, so we can spray the black on. But first I need to show you a little technique on how to do some paint chipping. Before we get to the paint chipping, the LED on the trap was clear, but it's red when it lights up. But the LED on the main original movie trap is always red, so I've sprayed it with a nice translucent red. That should turn out nicely. So just stub that there. So I used the translucent paint. It is built-in Molotov Premium Translucent Red. It's awesome. Back in the paint room, or the painting room, also known as my son's room. So I bought some Colgate Fresh Gel. I don't know if it has to be the gel type, but I've made sure to get some gel type toothpaste. And I've got plenty of these barbecue skewers. I'm going to use the blunt end, so I'm just going to pour a little bit of this gel toothpaste onto my chopping board. Right. Okay, that might have been far too much, more than I need. So the reason we're doing this is this stuff stays wet even after you've painted over it. So let me just grab this and I will show you what we're going to do. So if we just do a little bit over the edge, don't go too mad, just little flicks, and this will create our chipped paint effect. I want this to look like it's been scraped. So I'm going to do this to all the pieces that require it, so I'm not going to show you me doing it to them all. I may show you me doing some edges over there, but let me just do a jump cut. Right, so that's the toothpaste been put down. I've put down the paint on top of it. I'm going to let it dry. I'm trying to decide if I want to let it dry for about 4 or 5 hours or let it sit overnight, like for 24 hours, before I move on to the next stage. We will see how I feel. So I realise I've not done anything to the pedal yet since I've cut it off. I'm not going to actually do anything to it other than change the connector here for the new cable. So I'm just going to have to push out this pin. So let me just see if I can do that with this screwdriver. Not yet, so it's, there we go, just push out the pin, should pull out the other side, that's all that holds it together. So let's have a look on the inside. So there's a switch there, so all I need to do is put a new connector in there and wire it up to that. I'm not going to film any of my soldering because my soldering skills are extremely amateurish. and I don't want to be roasted on the internet as much as I do on real life. So let me just get that done while we wait for stuff to dry. Alright everybody, so that's the black paint dried, so it's time to show you how this paint chipping works. I've done all the other pieces, I've just got this one left to do it. I thought I would record myself doing it, so I'm just going to dip this cloth that I used the rest of them on into some water and squeeze out the excess water. Find a spot where I put the toothpaste and just give it a scrub. It's easy as that. Because toothpaste washes away with water, it basically comes off instantly. And you get a nice minty smell in your room while you're doing it. So don't worry if you're scrubbing too hard and you chip off more paint than you were wanting to chip off, because that just kind of adds to the look. So just do it all along here. Don't think I did too much on this one. So I'm just get the dry side of this towel or this cloth and just dry this off, see how it looks so far. Give it a good dry. Yeah, I'm liking how that's looking so far. Let's continue scrubbing. So you'll be able to easily see where the toothpaste is because it hasn't properly dried or it looks lumpy. So if you look along here, you can see the little lumps. If I just run this along and then give it a dry, it looks like great paint chipping. Look at that. Perfect paint chipping right there. So I'm just going to continue doing this, and then when I do a jump cut, we'll start getting ready to put everything back together. Right, so I've taped the two trap doors together so that I can apply the yellow marking tape. As you can see from these photos of some reference pictures that was not actually painted on the doors, it looks like they used some sort of electrical tape. So I've made little markings. I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but I can see them so that I can roughly see where these are going to go. So let me just measure that out. Yep, so let me just get that bad boy cut. Going to cut it slightly longer than I need. Okay. That goes along there. I'm going to press that bad boy down as tight as I can. Smooth it out. We'll just leave it like that for now, and I'll continue the process up. Cut that longer than I need. I think that's shorter than I need. Hopefully I've got it right. So try and match the spacing. There we go. This one is definitely longer than I need. There we go, and I don't think this one will need to be as long. Okay, that space isn't as big as that space, so let me just... There we go, let me just sort that out. Perfecto. Perfecto. Okay, the angle on that one doesn't match. Oh, this is going to be some sort of trial and error. There we go, that's a much better angle. And then the final one is going to go about there. And that'll get cut. So yeah, I'll just do a jump cut to me having all this nicely, neatly trimmed and things. So that's me taped these up. I'm not entirely sure if I'll keep them looking like that, but the best thing with this tape stuff is I can easily peel it off and redo it if I'm really not happy with it. They do mostly match up, but they didn't 100% match up in the original paint job anyway. So these bits of tape will get scuffed up at some point with some, I don't know, some sandpaper, maybe a bit of steel wool. Not sure I'm going to scuff them up yet, just so I can match the paint chipping. They will get scuffed up. Alright, so that's me finished the trap. As you can see, I've went with that connection. It's not movie accurate, I know, but there's a reason I went with this connection. It's because the type of cable was recommended was one with these connectors at either end. So that means I can connect that on and it's not coming off unless I disconnect it myself, which means when I do eventually get a movie accurate pedal, I'll just put one of these connectors on it and I can just swap it out. And it also means I can take this trap doesn't need to be connected to the cable at all times. Right, so I've had some trouble with the soldering and getting things to work, but I did get the main LED to work. I don't know if the speaker's working yet, because whenever I hit the trap, the pedal, nothing happens. So I'm just going to have to check my soldering and see what I've done wrong. This power cable's come undone. So I'm just going to try and figure this out, then the next shot should be the trap reassembled and getting ready for the next step. Alright everybody, before we get to the final stage, I thought I'd show you some little clips of the soldering process because I had so many problems trying to get things to work. So I thought I'd show you some sneak peeks of me getting frustrated. There was no talking because I didn't have the microphone plugged in. This is me just doing some test shots and filming it so I can send it to a friend for advice of what to do until I got it working. I'll put some text on the screen to let you know what stage and what's going on. Enjoy! Alright, the thing is reassembled. It looks great, it's working perfectly. There's just one thing left to do, and that is just to dirty it up with some oil paint. So let's get the trap on the table. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Let's get this beauty. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that looks great. Oh, hit the camera there, hit the camera. So let's just have a quick look at this before we get to dirty it up. So you can see that my paint chipping turned out well. I've got the yellow electrical tape on there. It's still not 100% straight, but it still looks good when it is sitting down. So I've got this all chipped at the front because I pictured that at some point my trap would have been slid so hard it's bounced off a wall or bounced off something, because it's attached to the hip, it's swinging, it's hitting all the other equipment, it's going to get scraped and chipped off. So yeah, this looks fantastic on the battery cover. Thank you very much to Ray Egons. He's been a fantastic help throughout this entire process. I've been messaging him whenever there's been a bit with the electronic side I have been a little stuck with, along with consulting a forum, which I'll put into the description. So yeah, so these panels have turned out great. The knobs turn. This knob turns here too. So let me just have a look. So look at some of this paint chipping. So I disguised the bit where I put the green stuff over, so I couldn't get it sanded completely flat in time. So I thought I'd put some paint chipping on there just to make it look like there's been some sort of maybe bit of welding going on. Got the sticker on there, it's been weathered down, just give it a quick sand really. The new switch looks great. Yeah, just about everything. I've lost the little clear piece of plastic that goes in there, so before this I'm going to have to sort it out, because right now it just doesn't look right without that clear piece of plastic, but I will find that. I think it's falling down the back of the table, so I can get that done off camera. But so we just need to get the final part done, then we can see how this beast looks. So let me just set this to the side and get what we need. So what we need is some oil paints palette. So I got these oil paints on eBay for like £2.50. Not even opened them yet, so let's just slide these out. All I need is the black and the brown. So let's just do a jump cut. I've got these out, and I've also forgot my water. Right, so I've got these open, so let's just open up the brown a little bit. There we go, so I'll just do a little dab of brown here. Don't think I'm going to need much more than that. Do not think I'll need much more than that. And I'll do the same with the black. That's why I only bought this little pack, because I didn't think I was going to need all that much. Oh, I've got it on my fingers. Damn, I hate getting dirty. Hate it, absolutely hate it. Let's get my water open. Which brush am I going to go with? I think I will go with this thinner one. Just bought some cheap brushes for this. Didn't want to use any of my good Warhammer brushes. Right, so just get these mixed up a little bit. I think I'm happy with that colour. You can tell I've never used oil paints before. I'm just going from what I've seen online. So let me just do a jump cut and we will get this party started. Right, so the goal here is just to dirty up the trap, make it look like it's being used a bit. So what we're going to do is layer some of this on, let it sit for like maybe 10 seconds and rub it off as much as you want rubbed off. So I'm going to start with just here. So as you can see, it is going on thicker than you'd expect, but don't you worry about that. This is going to turn out fine. Just maybe I've used a little bit too much water, but that is going to be fine. So don't you worry about this. This is just supposed to simulate grime and dirt. Oop, hit the camera with the brush. I'm not used to filming this close, especially if I'm doing an activity like this. So don't forget to get in on those paint chips because you want them to look dirtier than the rest. So once I've done all of this, get this son of a bitch looking nice and dirty. Right, so I'd say that's dirty looking enough. You get out your kitchen roll or paper towels and just give it a dab. Clean it up as much as you would like or as little as you would like. So it is going to stain it, and you just do this all over. So I think I've wiped a little too much off there. So it's definitely starting to look a little stained. So let me just get to the rest of this and then I'll do a jump cut to the finished product. Right, so that is me finished the trap. I've got it all dirtied and weathered. I can't actually physically touch the thing because it can take between days and weeks for the oil paint to dry. So I've been very careful in handling this. So without any hesitation, let's do a jump cut to the trap in all of its glory. Yeah, so here is the finished product. As you can see, it looks nice and weathered. It's a bit dirty, it's a bit grimy. That was what I was aiming for, because in my mind this trap has not been just inside buildings. It's been outside, splashing in the mud. It's got a little bit rusty, it's got a little bit dirty. No amount of wiping is going to clean that up. I think the finish is perfect. What do you think? So what we're going to do now is we're going to load up some photos of how it looked before and fade into how it looks now to see a comparison. So yeah, looking at this original one, we can see that it just looks like basic plastic. It's a bit scuffed. The white on the panels just looks cheap. It makes it look extremely like a toy. It is a toy, but it makes it look like a toy. It has the wrong knob on the left there. The two red rods, they just look like two red rods. Yeah, it just looks like a basic toy. So now, if we look at how it's turned out, you can see I've replaced that knob with a more movie accurate one. This knob even moves, unlike the one that was on there before. Replaced all the screws with movie accurate-ish ones. Scuffed it up, it's dirty. You can see I've got the paint chipping looks great. It looks like it's been through a few ghost battles. It looks great, so let's check out the other side. Yeah, so you can see with how it started looking out, as I said, the white looks pretty cheap. That silver paint job is not the best. Those fake screws, just they could have at least painted them a different colour from the plastic that they're on. That gold resistor piece is missing and it's just got a rough shape in the rough area it's supposed to be in the same rough colour. The knob is also the wrong type of knob. There's a panel missing along with a sticker that's missing. Everything else just looks like basic toy plastic. It is just basic, and you can also see that there is trademark on the plastic. Now we fade into how I've done this. You can see that I've weathered it. The panels look like they're dirty once again, a bit more dirty because there's crevices that are darkening into and can't properly be cleaned. That resistor's been changed into a proper replica resistor. It looks great. I've replaced all the screws once again, even the screw for the battery panel. I've tried to make it match the rest. I've even added a panel and once again a movie accurate knob that turns, added a sticker, dirtied it all up. I personally think this turned out great. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. It looks great. So let's have a look at some other sides of the trap that I forgot to take pictures of beforehand. So yeah, we've got the front of the trap here. I don't have a before picture. I really forgot to take one. Same with the top and the back, so I'm quite annoyed with that. But as you can see, I went with this look because I thought if it's been slid along indoors, there's a chance it's maybe bounced off a wall, it's been chipped up. So a bit dirt on the front here of these panels. Sadly these are not movable, but I've added those extra screws. They look great. I kind of wish the dirt came across here, but for some reason I just couldn't get it to look right. But yeah, I think I did well, not bad here. So let's have a look at the back. So yeah, I've added that sticker. I've weathered it to the point where I think it looks pretty good. Paint chipping looks good. That light looks great. The switch looks great. Everything works perfectly. You can see that new connector that I've put on there. So let's have a look at the top, then we can have a look at this thing in action. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with how the trapdoors turned out. The lines aren't perfectly aligned, but in reality they will not always be perfectly aligned, as they are done with tape. They may be removed and changed quite a bit. I've added this new panel from Dure Egon. It looks great. The proper screws are in there, but the only issue is I've lost a little perspex screen that covered the original section here to kind of add that look. So I'm going to have to get a little perspex off of eBay, just cut it to the right size and put it in there. It shouldn't be too much problem, but I've got a rough idea where I think the screens went. It's just got, I need to move some furniture to get it. That movie accurate switch looks a lot better, as does that light in permanent red. That screw that I've added to the handle I'm really happy with. Yeah, so I've got this all set up. So the reason I like these connectors is all you have to do is plug them in and Bob's your uncle. So let's get this bad boy turned on, and works perfectly fine. But I don't know if you could see from this angle that I added silver tape on the inside of the trap to reflect that green light. So let's get a better angle of that. Right, so let's have a look at that green light. You can see up here that I really need to get a little perspex screen just to get those lights reflected better. But yeah, I'm really happy with how all of this turned out. So what do you people think of how my trap turned out. I really want to hear your comments below. If you watched the full video and got to this point, thank you for putting up with my voice and my very, very, very amateurish skills, especially when it came to the soldering, because yeah, I've got burns. I've got burns on my fingers. I've also got a burn on my foot, which is very special. A little small piece of soldered metal flicked off and landed on my foot. Took me like a good second to realise why my foot was in pain. Yeah, so that was fun. So I'm so happy with how this turned out. It's going to be a major focal display piece in my living room for sure. So a big thanks to Ray Egons. Once again, details will be in the description. I've also flashed it on the screen a few times at this point in the video. Big thanks to him, because his products are fantastic. He's great help. If you message him, he will do his best to help you out. Such a friendly guy, great knowledge, fantastic. A big shout out to my friend Drew, who gave me my one and only soldering lesson. I did well in that lesson. I don't know if I applied those lessons well when it came to doing things on my own, but thank you, Drew. Big shout out to you, because normally when I was doing something like this, I'd probably ask Drew to help me, but I was determined to do this on my own, because old me would have got Drew to do the soldering part while I did everything else, but no, I wanted to do this 100% on my own, and I'm really happy that I did. Really happy. Now, my next mod, I was going to repaint a Toy Batmobile that I found in a charity shop. I was going to repaint that to make it look less boring, because the paint job on it bored me, and I thought I could repaint this and make it look more dynamic. So I'm on the fence if my next mod should be doing the paint mods on the Batmobile. It's not the Tim Burton Batmobile, it's not the one from the Dark Knight, it's one of the new Spin Master DC Toy Batmobiles. It splits into a second vehicle, but it looks like a decent Batmobile. I'll put a picture up on the Instagram and the Facebook page, check it out. But I was also toying with doing my PKE meter. I was going to give that a proper paint job, replace the screen with a more movie accurate screen, because I've been given that supplied by Ray Egons. I have those supplies to do that mod, but I was just trying to decide what I want to mod next. So I may do a vote on the Facebook page / Twitter / YouTube community page. Up to you people to let me know what you would like me to do next, because I do have a list of little projects like this that I would like to film. Because normally when I'm doing a project like this, I do it in my own time. I don't film it because I do like art tech stuff, but I've never done anything like, I would say this is a toy cosplay, because I've done up a toy to look movie accurate. I've dressed it up. I've never done anything like this, like replicating a movie accurate prop. I'm really happy with it. The closest I've ever come is before I even had a PK meter. Is years ago I downloaded a PK meter app on my phone, so it replicated the screen, and I made a cardboard PK meter to put my phone in that I could walk about with. That is the closest I ever came. Didn't even paint it, it was cardboard with my phone inside it. So Batmobile PK meter, and I'm going to try to get back to filming regular videos. I haven't done anything regular in a while, because to tell you the truth, it's been about a month since I started this. So from the very first part of this video to now, it's been a month. It took me a month to get to this point, mainly because of all the soldering issues. That was the biggest time piece, was getting the soldering done. But now that I know what went wrong, what mistakes I made, I'm pretty sure I could replicate this. If I got another trap, I could replicate this entire thing in say a week tops, or maybe 2 days if I fully went into it. But yeah, thank you for watching. I've just realised I've been rambling on now for like another 4 minutes. This video is long enough already. If you're new to the channel and you liked what you're seeing, please hit us with a like or maybe a subscribe if you want to see more. If you're a vintage viewer, thanks for coming back, thanks for sticking this long in the video, and as always, don't forget, have a good one.